What's going on, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman
and Tyler Lavalette
of Two Guys Talk Sports with another Friday Roundtable. Something a little different. We're coming to you live on Facebook from the studio. Me and Tyler today, we're going to do what we normally do, but just a little different format to what we're doing. Of course, first of all, I want to start by saying this. Happy Super Bowl week, everyone. Gonna get that off my chest before we get into the Super Bowl talk. Okay. Last week, we had Andrew Ackner with us, and we had an interview with him. He did a great job, and again, really happy to have him on board. One of the things we talked about in last week's show was holding officials accountable, and just, of course, the referee who got let go from his job, and, of course, Greg Campy being suspended. Well, we talk about holding officials accountable, but just when you think, okay, maybe we'll have a week where the officials don't try to take over the news highlight or the news stories. Sports fans, take a gander at this. Tyler, go ahead and roll the clip. And it's in my head. So for those of you, to give you an idea, making the headlines this week was Jefferey Anderson, who was a referee in the Big Ten. In this video clip that we are showing... Oh my God. Wow. In this clip, he decides to make the game all by himself by getting himself involved in a play in which Ace Bailey of Rutgers University scored on. I'm not making this up. In this clip, this is for real. Literally, this happened on Wednesday night in a game between Rutgers and Illinois. The referee got in the way and got involved in the play. Before I go with my thoughts, Tyler, the floor is yours.
Just why? Why did this guy decide to bat the ball backwards for basically no reason when the ball could have easily had gone out of bounds and be awarded as a ball for the opposing team? Why? I don't know if there needs to be any investigations, and I doubt there will be, but it's just, I'm speechless. I'm struggling on my own words, mind you. It's just, how can I really describe this as just baffling, besides just baffling? I can't. I'm stumped. I'm stumped.
Literally, this, you know what? Okay, I've complained about refs in the past before, but on this one, this is just one of those ones you just can't help but just laugh. It's funny and just downright sad at the same time. Like, I've seen refs make bad calls. They make mistakes. We're all human and all that stuff. But you know what? Watching this play, I have to ask this. Mr. Anderson, you do know you're a ref, right? You're not a basketball player anymore, or at least if you were. Okay, most of these refs, okay, they've probably played basketball in their lifetimes, but someone needed to tell Mr. Anderson, hey, your job's to officiate the game, not to play basketball in that situation. Could you please stop making the game about yourself, okay? This is about those players who work so hard to get it to, they've worked their whole lives to get this opportunity, to show off their skill set. And this would have been an incredibly impressive basketball play, except now it's going to be on the Sports Center, not Top 10, because the referee somehow, okay, and I know this, referees in college basketball, they either go in front of the play or they go behind the play. Okay, they do not interfere. They don't go into the mix. I don't know what happened here. Chances are Jeffery Anderson, that is the official's name, by the way. And unfortunately, when you know an official's name, that's usually means that's not good news. Because officials whose names are known for making bad calls. But
unless you're Wes McCauley.
He's you can't do that, bro.
And he's well liked.
Mm-hmm. I just do not understand how this could have happened. Like, refs are trained to either follow the play or get in front of it. And somehow, Jeffery Anderson got me. Okay, he's human. God bless him. Mm-hmm. He made a mistake. But somehow, this almost never happens in college basketball. He got mixed up on the play and somehow got into the action. And you know what? If a guy like me didn't know any better, I would have thought this is the worst play on defense I've ever seen. The man thought he could guard Ace Bailey. No, he couldn't. Back to you, Tyler.
I'm so stumped, man. I mean, and like I mentioned Wes McCauley in hockey because of how dramatic he can be with his calls and him. It's just very well liked as an NHL ref. It's a diamond amongst bad referee calls and bad referees that get their name called for all the wrong reasons. But this guy, like I said, I don't get it. Like he said, like Jake said, you're not really supposed to get into the pace of play for a reason, guys. And you don't play basketball anymore if you did in high school. Stop thinking you have any chance at basketball, showing basketball as a player. Your days of that are done if you did play. It's just, if this isn't on top 10 tonight, I'll be surprised.
There's a good chance it might have made not top 10 on Thursday if they showed that on Thursday.
Well, Friday, I think is when they do it.
Oh, well, it better be, because that is definitely a not top 10 worthy moment. I mean, look. I mean, this could go both ways. Feelings about this can go both ways. On one hand, you're going to have people who are just like, these Big Ten officials, man. They keep on trying to make the game about themselves, and they shouldn't. And on the other hand, this is also a goofball. This is probably one of the funnier things I've seen in college basketball. I'll admit that. All right. I mean, we've had Tyler's mentioned referees like Wes McCauley. I like to think of Ed Hockley, who he was a good referee in the NFL, but was also known for over-explaining things, but at least in a funny way. This, of course, two things that can come out of this. One, obviously a very humorous moment. Luckily, hey, he didn't get knocked down, didn't get trucked or anything. He's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you know what? If like I said, if I didn't know any better, this looks like really bad defense in college.
Yeah.
That's what I remember posting a comment out of a joking way saying, bro thought he could guard Ace Bailey. And shoot, if you watch it again, one has to wonder, was he trying to guard Ace Bailey, or was he trying to stop Illinois from stopping Ace Bailey? Whose side was he on if he was trying to play basketball? What are you doing, Jeffery Anderson? By the way, this referee has a nickname, by the way. He's known as High Knees Referee because he doesn't just run like normal. But if you seen a video of Jeffery Anderson, he doesn't run like a normal official. He looks like he's warming up for something, like his knees come up. It doesn't look like he's jogging or running. He's stretching as he's running, for lack of a better word. So to sum this subject up, okay, the Big Ten needs to train its officials better. And hey, if there is something good that can come out of this, it's the Big Ten should show this to all their officials and say, hey, this is what not to do when you're trying to make sure there's fair play in the game. Don't get yourself involved. All right? Don't make it about you. Okay? Keep the ego aside. All right? This is about the players. All right?
Yeah.
Stay a safe distance behind or in front of the play, in the corner or behind the play. Okay? Don't wander too far off into the play. I guess on a side note, I do wonder because Jeffery Anderson, from what I understand, has a busy workload throughout because there's so many basketball games in the season. One has to wonder if he was feeling fatigued this week. Anything else you'd like to say about this, Tyler, before we move on?
Yeah, agreed. You just as a learning curve for the Big Ten referees. So just tell, like you said, Jake, future refs needs to know what not to do. Okay. If that's not positive, that's okay, and that's good. Absolutely.
Hey, once again, I'll just close it up by saying this. Okay, better training for the refs. Okay, focus. Give refs rest. Give other refs a chance if you need to. All right. Rest between travels. And finally, one final thing. Jeffery Anderson, come on, man.
Yep. Indeed.
All right. I am going to let Tyler start off on our next subject. I believe it's a very sad day in professional football. Am I right, Tyler?
Yes, it is. Even as a fan of a division rival, there is no joy in any of this whatsoever. we have lost the last living link to the NFL's history, founded over 100 years ago, with the passing of Bears owner and matriarch Virginia Halas McCasky at the age of 102.
Yeah. So, being a Bears fan, like Tyler said, the last vestige or the last link to the start of professional football, and something to keep in mind. So, McCasky was Virginia's last name. Of course, her middle name or her original last name was Halas because she was the daughter of the late and the great George Halas, the man we called Papa Bear. So that is what Tyler is referring to. She was the daughter of George Halas, and he passed away in 1983, and now his daughter joins him in God's heavenly kingdom. Mm-hmm. So I will start by saying this. Okay, I was critical of Virginia McCasky, as I was with the McCasky family. I don't deny that. I was critical in the way that they were running the operation. It felt like that they weren't doing enough to help the Bears progress forward as a modern-day NFL organization, and they weren't spending enough money to get players that they needed or resources that they might have needed. So I was critical of them. I don't deny that. Yes, I'm one of those people who always said, okay, they need to sell the team. All right, that is always how I felt. I don't deny that. Mm-hmm. But today, I'm not going to get into that. My heart, my thoughts and prayers go out to George McCasky and his family because there's no doubt in my mind that Virginia McCasky, even for all the shortcomings she had as an owner of the Bears, she was doing the very best she could to stay involved with the Bears. She was at every game. She was there for the players if they needed them. And she even, from what I heard, gave history lessons about the history of the Chicago Bears and history of the NFL. So she was very much involved with the Bears. There's no denying that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Tyler.
And that's actually good. I mean, team history definitely intertwined with that league as a whole. There's a good reason when the 2019 season, when the NFL centenary, that they did Packers-Bears to start it out on NBC that season. That was an important matchup that's still part of the league's fabric to this very day.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, something else. Speaking of the Bears and Packers, this is really, really fitting when I think about this. But Virginia Halas McCasky's last game, she got to see the Bears beat the Packers. There's something poetic about that. Her very last football game that she went to as the owner of the Bears, she got to see them beat the Packers. I bet you and much more or less around her birthday too, her 102nd birthday. That had to have been a great gift, and I bet you she was all smiles that day. It just so fitting. Want to add to that, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm just smiling as well because of that. It's just, if you can go out and your last game is against a longtime rival and you beat that longtime rival, it's a good way to go out. We can talk all we want about the team's future and what's going to happen under Ben Johnson and what happened with the McCaskies going forward with the team. Let's just do that for a different day. Right now, that family is definitely hurting right now. With Virginia's passing. That's the key matriarch to that family there. And they knew her time was eventually going to come, but still, it's sad.
Absolutely. She was, both her and George ran the Bears. Of course, her son, George McCasky, he was the chairman, but Virginia Halas McCasky, she was the principal owner. She was in charge of the majority of this operation. And I will say this, hey, she did the best she could running this Bears organization. I will say. As much criticism as I had for the way she ran the Bears, she was doing the best she could. She might not have known all of what to do with running the Bears, but she was giving it everything she had. There's no question about that. And that is something that I'm finally confessing. She really did the best she could. Sometimes, hey, you do the best no matter how much you know about the operation or not. But regardless, the Chicago Bears, they're not going to be the same without her. That much I know.
That they are not.
And speaking of, Tyler mentioned this, the future of the Bears. So now George McCasky, the Bears are all his now. And there's questions now about what's he going to do going forward. Does he keep it under the McCasky name? Does he hand it off to his children? Does he sell the team? We just don't know at this point. So in terms of ownership, the future of the Bears, it's an uncertainty. With Virginia's passing, we just don't know what's going to happen. Go for it, Tyler.
Right. And, of course, one thing Virginia did was get rid of the Bears' cheerleaders back in the mid-'80s.
Uh-huh.
So there could always be that coming back. We'll see. We'll bring back the honey bears in some reincarnation, like how the Lions nowadays have cheerleaders. But that's just something to consider down the road.
Absolutely agreed. Of course, it was George Papa Bear Halas' idea to have the honey bears. He said it himself. As long as I'm alive, we're going to have dancing girls on the sideline. It was Virginia McCasky who didn't like him, of course, and she disbanded the whole honey bears. And as long as she was around, there was going to be no honey bears. But with her departing to heaven now, it's a possibility that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, the honey bears will return. And you don't want to know something? I hope that happens. I really do, because I think the Chicago Bears were better when the honey bears were on the sidelines. I mean, the last year they were on the sidelines, that was the year they won the Super Bowl.
And the fact that when they went to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 41 and lost, you could really look into that not having those cheerleaders. Well, then again, when they did the Super Bowl in Dallas and Green Bay and the Steelers played, both teams don't have cheerleaders, or at least it didn't at that time. So there's that.
Absolutely. So that was a good fact that Tyler brought up. So so now to finally close off this subject, even for, as we say, I was critical of Virginia McCasky's handling of the Bears, but you know what? There's no denying, okay? She was the first lady of the NFL, and at the very least of the old school NFL. She represented the NFL. She was the last living representative of the NFL in its earliest form, the old school days of football. And today, we've lost a piece of that original NFL. And you know what? I have no doubt that Virginia McCasky lived a good life away from the Chicago Bears. Did a lot of good things, had a lot of impact on the community, and she seemed like a really, really, really kind person to have a conversation with. And like I said, I really hope that the McCasky family, I hope they find peace, and I hope they find healing in their sorrow at this point. So, to Virginia Halas McCasky, rest in peace. And now, with that said, we finally turn the page. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yes, we do. On to the big thing we have. And, of course, it is a rematch from 2 years back with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles taking place down in the Big Easy at the Caesars Superdome on Sunday.
Absolutely. Should be another powerful matchup. As Tyler said, a rematch between two of the NFL's biggest powerhouses right now in terms of talent. The Kansas City Chiefs, they've won 2 in a row. They're going for 3 in a row, something that has never, ever been done in NFL history. And then you got the Philadelphia Eagles. They won a second Super Bowl title. They got a great team behind them, and they'll have a great shot to do it. It's a lot of things to look out for. And one thing I'll be watching out for in terms of this matchup on both sides. So one key for the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of winning this game, limiting Saquon Barkley. All right. He is a big reason why the Eagles have gotten as far as they have. Probably one of the power moves of free agency in NFL history. Because I don't think the Eagles would be where they are in the Super Bowl facing the Kansas City Chiefs again without Saquon Barkley. And he's going to give them a big chance to win this game. If the Chiefs can't find a way to stop them, Oh boy, it could be a long day. And in terms of the Eagles, it's not gonna be easy. Sure, you pick your poison, try to stop Travis Kelce. But you gotta get pressure on Mahomes. That's the big thing. Can that defense get pressure on Mahomes? That's something I'm gonna be watching for. Go for it, Tyler.
Absolutely. Those are some crucial pieces you need to factor in on both the Eagles and the Chiefs. Now, of course, a lot of the folks are going to be focused on, Taylor Swift is still dating Travis Kelce. Seriously, she's had quite the impact on spending for the Super Bowl these days with all the products and stuff that people are likely buying at grocery stores. And, of course, let's just see how things are going with Kendrick Lamar for the halftime show.
Absolutely.
And SZA as a featured guest. Will he go? How will him doing Not Like Us happen with Drake and stuff? The controversy around that. There's a lot to factor in besides just the game alone. And let's not forget the commercials. Let's just hope we get some good ones. Please. That's all I'm asking for, especially if that's because it's the only day where people look forward to the commercials. And if we have to equally have a three-peat of Temu advertising, oh boy, I can guarantee you that's going to be at the bottom of the ad meter on Monday.
Tyler said it best. Yep, Taylor Swift's going to be there, and of course Kendrick Lamar. He's going to be your halftime show. There'll be a few other performers, only some of which I can remember, and of course there'll be America the Beautiful perform. It'll be lovely, and national anthem. I can't wait to see the pregame, of course, and all the hype. Can't wait to see the team entrances. That's a really big part of it. There's going to be no pyrotechnics. I can tell you that. The smoke, yes, there'll be smoke machines, but as far as I remember, the NFL has now officially banned pyrotechnics on the field after one Tennessee Titans game, which a couple of fireworks lit the field on fire. Not the whole field, but a good chunk of it. Oops. Causing some change. Yeah. So we won't see that. Right. All right. And one other thing to keep an eye on before I hand it back to Tyler, the security is going to be gargantuan in this Super Bowl. Probably the biggest amount of security in a Super Bowl ever, because Donald Trump is going to be there. All right. The president of the United States, he has decided he's going to come to New Orleans. And after what happened in New Orleans to start the new year, that terrorist attack and all the attempts on Trump's life. So apologies if I'm getting a little too political, but that's one thing that we got to keep in mind is security. Okay, for those reasons, this Super Bowl, security is going to be probably the tightest of any Super Bowl ever. Go for it, Tyler.
Yeah, as it should be, especially we're just in wake of what happened early on New Year's Day alone. You just knew security was going to be tight in the French Quarter along Bourbon Street. Now that you have Trump taking part in it, I don't know if he's saying for the whole thing or what, but when you factor in the president of the United States taking part, you're going to be expecting a lot of bomb-sniffing dogs, Secret Service agents, and the like. It's going to be hectic.
Indeed. But I've got faith. I've got faith not only in the security and as well as the NFL and the Secret Service. Everybody is in talks. I've got confidence there. They've been talking to each other for 2 weeks straight, and everything is set up the way it needs to be. Okay? And especially, the Sugar Bowl, the day after New Year's, we had the Sugar Bowl. Everything went fine. I've got confidence that everything's going to be fine for the Super Bowl. I guess a couple of questions going. Like we mentioned, can the Chiefs stop Saquon Barkley? Can the Eagles defense, can they get pressure on Patrick Mahomes? Will Travis Kelce run wild, have a big game, and then propose to Taylor Swift like some people think he is? We'll find out. Or will the Eagles celebrate their second Super Bowl win? Will Jalen Hurts finally get some much-deserved respect? And will Saquon Barkley's efforts, will they pay off in the best way possible? So, all questions, all intriguing matchups. How many points can we expect? All right, with all of that being said, the Eagles are going to give it everything they got. They're hungry. They're ready to rock and roll. I know this team, they're looking for revenge. They got a lot of talented pieces. They've proven me wrong a lot this season. They got to do it again one more time. They got to prove me wrong one more time. I am thinking it's a three-peat for Kansas City. I'm going to go with 34-31 Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, you got the Chiefs making their history. Well, someone has to take the other side of this coin. And I have that three-peat not happening. I see Philadelphia's efforts of Hurts and Barkley going like crazy. Close game, obviously, which is what we like. Let's go with an Eagles win with a score. Let's go 35-28.
35-28. All right. So I got, something, Tyler? Why am I not surprised you picked the Eagles? Why am I not surprised? I mean, you do have family down there that roots for all those Philadelphia teams, if I'm correct.
Yes, anytime they're not facing Detroit, mind you.
Yeah, I kind of figured you'd pick the Eagles. So, but either way, hey, this is a game that when I look into the matchup, it can go either way. It's just a matter of who's going to execute. Are we going to be singing "Fly Eagles Fly," or are we going to say, "How about them Chiefs"? Only one way to find out. And also, are the refs going to stay out of this? We'll find out. To be seen.
Yes, something tells me that answer to that very last question might be a no, but like you said, we just have to wait and see what happens.
Absolutely. Any other final thoughts you have on the Super Bowl?
I just know it's going to be fun. And although you might see people on the internet say that they're rooting for the media or that they're not going to watch, I feel like internet culture doesn't exactly subside to the vast majority of America, especially when you got a lot of the Swifties out there that will be interested because of the connection with Swift and Kelsey.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, hey, I just want a good, entertaining football game. I just want both teams to play their best. I want both teams to prove that they're in the Super Bowl for a reason. Like, they've proven that they belong there and proven that each one is capable of winning the championship. I want it to be a game unpredictable. Like, we don't know who's going to win. That's the kind of game I'm rooting for. I'm not watching the Super Bowl for the drama. Okay, I'm not watching for Taylor Swift. Sorry, Taylor Swift. Okay, I'm not looking for whether or not Travis Kelce is going to propose to Taylor Swift. Okay, I'm certainly not watching for a meteor. Okay, I doubt there's going to be a meteor. Meteor showers, and you know what? That would be really bad if we actually had a meteor, considering how many people are going to be in New Orleans this weekend. I am just watching for the game.
Yes,
I'm a sports guy at heart. I just want a good football game. Let's play football one last time in early 2025, and then we got to wait.
24 season.
Yep.
And this is why they always use the Roman numerals, guys.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm not one of those people that are boycotting it just because my team didn't make it in. We'll see. We'll see how the Lions do one day, but for now, let's just enjoy what we have.
Indeed. I guess there's only one question I have left for my friend Tyler. And you know what? For the rest of our viewers and for the rest of America, what you thinking about snacking on for this Super Bowl, if anything? Or what things do you have in mind? You thinking about pulling out some and this is a question I'm asking myself. Is it going to be the queso? Is it going to be the tzatziki sauce? What special stuff are you going to pull out to snack on for the Super Bowl? Jake, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, Tyler? Go for it.
That I'm not even sure about. I mean, I'm going to talk to that with my mom about it.
It's just, I asked you this question, Ty, because it's just, the Super Bowl is just one of those, it's one of those days of the year where the snacks are heavily involved. We're a talk show about sports, and we start talking about snacks, but this is just one of those few days where it intertwines. But
Yep.
just rooting for a good game, hoping for a good game, hoping for no bull crap, just good football. That's all I ask in New Orleans.
Absolutely. That's what we want.
Yeah, amen to that. All right. Anything else on your mind, Tyler, sports-wise?
I'm hearing rumors that Netflix could be a potential landing spot for F1 once the current deal with ESPN ends, but time will tell on that.
Absolutely. That would be really interesting. I'd love, Netflix they've looked into getting into a whole lot of sports. They've been looking to, test the waters into those markets. And Formula One, I think it's a really good jumping off point because it's, for lack of better words, while it may not be the easiest thing to broadcast, it's the easiest. It's also, in a way, easier to get into for a network looking to get into sports than, say, other sports like the NFL, MLB, because, in a way, Formula One has caught the interest of American viewers. Like, especially for those who like auto racing. People like Formula One for a lot of different reasons.
Mind you, this is the network that has the streamer that has Drive to Survive. So, think about the easy opportunity that it is to be able to, for F1 fans to be like, hey, I want to watch this, have this platform to watch the show. I can be able to also watch the live races too.
Absolutely. Hey, it's all coming together for Netflix.
They did the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson boxing match. They aired Monday Night Raw. They aired 2 NFL games. And like I said in the past, they got the Women's World Cup in 27 and 31.
Absolutely. I guess the one question I have in terms of Netflix is March Madness and college football potentially in their broadcasting future? I wonder.
Well, I'm sure those are well locked into the 2030s already, so we'll see down the road.
Yeah, might take a while, but just a thought. And, all right, just to give you guys a couple of other things going around. Plenty of college basketball, of course, going on this weekend, even with the Super Bowl, because that sport never slows down.
Nope.
So the Purdue Boilermakers, they are taking on the USC Trojans tonight at 7. So all I got to say is, hey, if you're the Purdue Boilermakers, can't afford to start slow. This USC team, they're going to come in. They are going to be hungry. They're looking for a big resume. Very building win. They had a big win against Michigan State and went on the road to Illinois and beat them. So if I'm Purdue, do not take this team lightly. Come out ready to play hard for the full 40. Mm-hmm. That's my message to the Purdue Boilermakers tonight. Anything else on your mind, Tyler?
Not really. Just get ready for Super Bowl Sunday.
Absolutely. And all right, sports fans, we're gonna let you guys get ready for Super Bowl Fun Day Sunday, or the Puppy Bowl, as some of you like to watch. I know some of you are ready for that, and we'll let you enjoy that. All right, sports fans, that is all we got for this Friday Roundtable. We hope you've enjoyed. Follow us on Facebook at 2 Guys Talk Sports, and be sure to follow us on YouTube at 2 Guys Talk Sports and other things. Tyler, am I missing anything?
I believe that you got that all taken care of.
Yeah, and hey, if you got any comments or any questions you have for us, feel free to leave them, and we'll try to answer them. Mm-hmm. Seriously, we mean that. And once again, me and Tyler, we are just so grateful for your support. And the people here at Waterford, they've done an absolute great job. And big thanks to Marion, to Whitney, and to Josh, of course, who works so hard to make all of this possible.
Absolutely.
All right, sports fans, that's it for this Friday Roundtable. This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Lavalette.
Wishing you all a good Super Bowl weekend. Take care, everyone.